Welcome back. In the health tips segment, I thought I would answer a question, well, kind of answer a question that I get often as a dietitian. Is it worth the money to spend a little bit extra on what I call the designer eggs that have the omega-3s and other things that they're promoting? Well, I can't directly answer that question, but what I can do is give you some information so you can make the decision, because it really is a personal choice when you're looking at eggs. Now, one thing I want to point out, a lot of times people are under the impression that a brown egg is actually healthier than a white egg, and that is actually not true. The outside of the shell, the color, has nothing to do with the nutritional content on the inside. It simply indicates the color of the bird or the breed of the bird that laid the egg. Another common I don't want to say faux pas or thing that people believe is that the color of the yolk means it's more nutritious if it's a bright color versus pale color. Actually, the color of the yolk is related to what the bird has been fed. So if it's a darker yellow orange color, that means it had green plants, yellow corn, alfalfa, and that'll be very common, that color, in free range birds that are kind of out and about in the yard eating whatever is in the backyard. The pale yellow yolks, that means the bird was fed wheat and barley, and a colorless yolk means that the bird was fed white cornmeal, and it doesn't really reflect the nutritional quality. Now, there are some terms that you will see when you're looking for eggs that might be a little bit confusing, and I'm going to go over a few of these. Again, this one says brown eggs. Doesn't matter, brown or white. They're going to have the same nutritional quality. This is what I kind of like to call as a designer egg, because it has the omega-3s. Now, that's a really great feature. These hens have been fed flax, marine algae, and fish oils that has been added to their bird feed. So that's where the omega-3s come in. When they lay these eggs, they have a higher content of omega-3 because of what they've been eating. Now, one kind of cool thing about these eggs is that the American Heart Association recommends that people have 3.5 ounces 2 times a week of fatty fish because they're high in omega-3s. However, some people don't like fish. They might be allergic. This would be another great option because it has that added in. Now, another thing you'll see a lot on the outside of eggs is these terms free roaming, cage free. Well, those terms, they're not quite regulated. Free range means that the animal was allowed a little bit of time or a lot of time outside. It could be outside for 5 minutes a day and be called free range. It could be out all day, 24 hours a day, and be called free range. So you're not really sure when it says free range, unless you've talked to the farmer, you don't really know what you're getting. Another term that can be confusing is cage-free eggs. And that means that the hens, they're living in an indoor facility, but they're not in a cage. They usually live on the floor of the barn or the poultry house. So that's what it means when it says cage-free. These are organic, and organic is regulated by the USDA. That means that the hens were fed feed that did not have pesticides or herbicides or commercial fertilizers. So that's what that means when you're getting organic. Another thing that can be a little bit confusing is the grade. As we see here, this one is, these white eggs are grade A. What the grade means is there's a grade AA, which is the top of the line eggs. That means they look perfect. There's no stains, no dents or dings, and it's kind of like a really good egg. And grade A, the only difference between AA and grade A is that the whites are slightly less thick and firm than grade A. It's confusing, grade AA. That's the only difference. And grade A and AA is generally what is sold in the stores. So if you're making some recipe and you want really high quality eggs and you're very particular, go for the AA. Otherwise, the A is fine. Now, B is not usually sold in stores. Those are used for commercial liquid eggs or powdered products. And that's because they may have some stains or a little bit of nicks on the outside of the egg, but still great for those commercial products. One last thing I want to talk about is size. Large eggs, basically the size is only talking about the ounces. Large eggs are 2 ounces, medium eggs are 1.75 ounces. And why would you be concerned with that? Well, if you're following a recipe and it says large eggs and you bought small eggs, you'll have to, add another half of a small egg. So that's why you would want to know the ounces. Again, these choices are up to you. Do you want, free range? Is that important to you? Is organic important to you? Is cage-free important to you? It really, really comes down to a personal choice. And if you're still confused by this, go online, do some research. Weight Watchers, if you Google Weight Watchers and eggs, they have a wonderful handout that explains everything you ever wanted to know about eggs. So that's it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed the program. I'm Karen Kowalik. Thanks for watching. I'm reminding you to eat more whole foods, keep moving, and stay positive. We'll see you next time on Mind, Body, and Spirit.